Good afternoon. It's a nice warm day here on the ship Artemis. It is a Tuesday, August 20th, and to my left is our tour guide. And my purpose of this interview is to learn more about him and his techniques of touring Americans and other groups, but mostly Americans. And we will start with the basic question, Albert. Tell us about yourself.
Hello everybody, I'm Albert. I have a very German name, but I was born in Spain, in Barcelona in 1994, and I was grown up by a family of two Spaniards, and then when I was 6 years old I moved to Rome, where I completed my studies, my career, and right now I live in a small town about 35 miles from Rome called Santa Marinella. I have many passions, many interests that goes from photography, swimming, surfing, and everything that's regarding the life on the coast.
All right, Albert. As a tour leader, what have you learned about being a tour leader?
Oh, I learn constantly. This is a job very, very dynamic, where I can learn new things every day. And as I always mention, one of the best parts of my trip and traveling is meeting new people constantly that enrich me so much, giving to me much of their experience and giving much of their life to me through histories and through practices or interests that they want to share with me.
All right. Now, because Albert, you meet so many people who have traveled so much, what have you learned from them?
Oh, thank you for this question. This is very important for me, and as I was mentioning, I continuously learn from them. But the best lesson I learned so far was to be open to the unexpected, to be open to new experiences, and that you cannot always program your perfect trip. You have to just go with the flow, and you are going to experience incredible adventures.
Oh, that is interesting. Interesting question. So, which tour have you done, and which tour is your specialty, either now, this year, or last year, in the past?
Right now I'm specialized in different kind of tours. I've been working in the field for the last 10 years, so I had many different experiences, from traveling to Switzerland, northern Italy, but as well as Spain and Malta. But my specialization is in particularly Rome and the south of Italy. Right now we are doing a trip with Marcel, going in the western coast of Italy and the islands, and I think that this is one of my biggest specializations, where I feel very confident in my environment and in my surroundings.
Albert, how many years have you done OAT and with other companies total?
Oh, I've been working a total of 10 years. We are freelancers, so we are the possibility to work with different agencies. So I've been working very recently from OIT. I started this April, and this is my 4th trip with them. So far it's been a great adventure. But in past years I worked with many different American agencies that does tripping with elder people, but even families and students, and even religious groups.
Oh, very interesting. Now, you've been doing this for 10 years, right? And 4 years with OAT. Let's count 5 or 10 years from now. Do you have, Albert, any future plans for yourself? Do you want to keep on being a guide? What are your aspirations in the future, 5 or 10 years from now?
So far I've been studying so much, because in Italy you are required to have a license of a tour leader. So right now I've been licensed for 10 years as a tour leader, but I want to become also a tour guide, so specializing in archaeological sites and monuments in Rome. So I'm planning that by next year I'm going to have also my license as a tour guide. This will allow myself to settle down in a city and tour around that area without having to move that much. In my 5 to 10 years, my goals and my deepest dream is to open one day my own travel agency and take with me my own travelers, customizing the experience as much as possible.
And when you do, Albert, I'll be in there calling you up. Okay.
You are welcome, Marcel.
What impressed you the most about American people from the OAT company, and especially on this trip to western coast of Italy, Sicily, and Malta? What has impressed you the most about the people who are touring with you?
Oh, I always love OAT target of customers. Travelers from OAT are very, very knowledgeable. They are very highly educated and very curious, and this inspires me so much. They are one of the best examples I can have in my life, because they are in their 70s, their 80s, and they are still continuing to travel the world 2-3 times a year, exploring and being hungry of new things to try. So this is the biggest thing I learned about American people, and especially with OAT customers.
That is very true, you know. Perhaps I'm one of the youngest tour people here, but I've been impressed with people who are, can't walk well, but they still manage to. There's one person on a stick, but he manages to. They want to learn and explore and have an adventure. So Albert, not all tours go smoothly. So what kind of problems have you encountered being a tour leader for OAT or other companies have you work with?
Oh, I have a long list of different problems I encountered during my trips. For sure, the most common one is to having unfit people to travel, where they cannot do most of the activities, so they have a hard time to complete it, and I feel very bad for them, for sure, on a human level. On a practical and logistic level, my job is to take care of everybody and to do the things that are in the schedule. So it's 50-50. One part of my heart is with the person that cannot do the trip, the other part of my heart is working related, so I have to accomplish what I've been told to.
Okay.
Different problems I encountered during the years, as well as unfit travelers. They can be also people that are not interested, and so they may be both a trip that wasn't for them. So it's in that case it's very difficult to make for them a pleasant trip.
Yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult to please everyone, especially if they're not motivated. All right. How do you hope to improve yourself as a tour leader? You know, you're always trying to correct this, correct that, and you're being challenged by questions that require details. So how do you prepare yourself, and how do you improve yourself as a better tour leader?
Thank you for the question. This is a very important question for me. I consider myself a very curious person. So big part of my job is being curious and study continuously in different subjects. It can be naturalistic, it can be history, it can be food related, it can be about norms and regulamentations of Italy, or even controversial topics. So I always want to know the best possible the environment I'm working in, because in that way I cannot answer as many questions I get asked.
Okay. Well, Albert, you're meeting people who've traveled so much. I'm sure you're influenced by the travel. But let's say you have time off from your tour as a tour leader. If you travel again, I know you have traveled, where do you want to travel, and tell why?
I've been to America 2 months last winter, and it was one of the best trips in my life, because it let me know better the American culture. But for sure, America and United States is a great place to travel. If I think about my number one trip on my list, it will be Japan. I would love to have a nice trip in Japan of 3-4 weeks where I can really feel Japan way of living, not only to see the main attractions, but just to feel the culture.
We may be traveling together another time, Albert. What person, either your family or someone in the tour, has influenced you the most in your life?
Thank you for this question. I have two great examples in my family. My dad is been working 25 years around the globe, so it was a very big inspiration when I was a kid. And my mom, she is a tour leader as well, so she's been a great example to me. And she always told me that traveling was incredibly good and was fantastic. It's always an investment. The money spent on traveling is never wasted. So she was the biggest motivator for me to travel and to do this job.
Very good answer, Albert. As a tour leader and being in many places around the world, you've been to Hawaii, the Philippines, the Grand Canyon, New York. What's another place you've been?
Indonesia. And all Europe.
And all of Europe. So Albert is well traveled. Have you developed any philosophies on traveling and maybe life itself, and maybe telling us, why do you travel? Why do the people in the OAT travel? Why do you think they travel?
Traveling is one of the best things that life has to offer us, and I always say a quote, I say life is a book, and who does not travel read only one page. I think that life, it's all about traveling, acquiring and knowing all different cultures around the world, make us feel rich and make us understand how they feel. And I think they prevent a lot of worldwide conflicts.
Yes,
if we learn to
true.
travel, we learn to understand and to more empathetic with other people, because not all the world is the same, and it has to be like that. Differences are good.
Albert, a question just occurred to me. Sometimes, do you think when you travel, wherever you go, maybe back to the United States, do you feel like sometimes you may be an ambassador to your country of Spain and Italy? Do you think that's true?
Oh, I'm for my trips in Italy, I'm the best ambassador. I'm sharing the trip with 20-25 people at the time, and I'm his person of the point of reference for them. So I have to be the best ambassador of my country. I have to keep the enthusiasm, and it's a natural thing for me, because I love this country, I love my land so much that for me it's a pleasure to unveil and to show you the best things to see, to discover, to taste, to try, and to visit. So it's always it was always a pleasure, and I always try to show the best side of my place, but also the dark side of it, because I always say that we are not tourists, we are travelers. So a big part of my job is not only to show you the good, but also the bad, and how it's real life in the place that we are visiting. My philosophy, Marcel, is that I always do my job. I always show the places that we are living, that we are visiting, in the way that I would like to be shown if I was a traveler as well.
So I think maybe what you're saying, Albert, is that when you work with people like these knowledgeable people who travel, and you representing an ambassador of Italy or Spain, are you making connections from yourself to the person who are traveling, or making a connection from me, from you, to those people out there watching this video?
Connections is everything. People are everything. I mentioned it already in some questions ago. And the network that you create with people, the connections are unique, because it's an exchange. You give me something to me, I will give you something to you, and we are going to both get richer and more complete. Thank you.
Beautiful answer. So thank you, Albert. And those of you who are out there, I hope you listen to Albert's interview. And if you have the time and, of course, money to travel, I think it's a good idea because it will help you have a broader perspective of what life is all about. Life is not only where you live, but there are different kinds of life. And if you go there and try to understand their way of life, maybe we can make life in the earth much better for the humankind. Thank you.